When did a game of hide and seek go horribly wrong? When I was about 8 years old, my little brother, who was 6 at the time, and my little sister, who was 3 years old, were playing some type of easy hide and seek in my grandparents' backyard. Well, there are woods behind their house. Our sister, being a defiant toddler, ran into the woods, and my brother just saw her run in and ran in after her. They were in the woods for hours because she ran in so deep, and they both got turned around. Our brother found a hunting post, climbed up it into the tree, and found a way out. They then knocked on doors, covered in dirt and scratched up, until someone answered. A woman gave them a ride back because our brother was able to point out landmarks to get back to our grandmother's house. They got back while my mother was on the phone with the cops. They were discussing a helicopter to find them. We were this close to a search party. They walked a collective 2 to 3 miles. They could have gone miles deeper into rural woods if they didn't keep going one way and find the post. So yeah, watch your damn kids, lol. Telling them, don't go into the woods, does not guarantee they will listen. Edit. I misused Amber Alert. But we were very close to a search party. Also, the police were called and still showed up to give the kids a talking to. Nothing was learned, and we were repeatedly locked outside on nice days, with woods behind our own house. I managed to send an entire store on lockdown and freak out my entire family when I was maybe 5 years old. My family was at Lowe's, and I decided to take my Kirby plushie with me and hide behind some shelves or boxes, and see if they could find me. Turns out they couldn't, and ran around outside because they thought someone kidnapped me. The entire store went on lockdown for a missing child. All the while I'm sitting, giggling and waiting for them to find me. I eventually came out of hiding after my mom passed me, and got in huge trouble afterwards. I never hid in public again as a kid. From the great British actor David Niven's Wikipedia page. While on leave in 1940, Niven met Primula Susan Rollo, the 18th of February 1918, London the 21st of May 1946. Primi died at the age of 28. Only 6 weeks after the family moved to the US, she fractured her skull in an accidental fall in the Beverly Hills, California home of Tyrone Power. While playing a game of hide and seek, she had walked through a door believing it to be a closet. But instead, it led to a stone staircase to the basement. I was a waiter, and some kids from a party I was serving played hide and seek, and about 5 minutes later they had to come back because the chef came to cook. Teppanyaki restaurant. There were 2 guardians looking after the children, and one of them realized that a child was missing and freaked out. It was like a mini manhunt in the restaurant. This was all done by the guardians since they didn't tell anyone. I just overheard them and decided to watch what they would do. After about 5 to 10 minutes of searching, the girl comes out crying. They forgot about me. She was in the bathroom the whole time, and she was quiet when they called for her because she thought they were still playing. If you ask me, when they started a new round because everyone had been found, except me, at my birthday party. When I was a kid, my 2 older brothers would always make me be it. One time they both hid in a trunk full of clothes. I was probably 6 or 7. So I decided to lock them in. Only I didn't have a key. They panicked like crazy and were having trouble breathing. The babysitter was going crazy. I think she broke the lock eventually. But it was some scary moments. We had just recently moved into our neighborhood, and my sister, 5 at the time, was playing hide and seek with a neighbor kid. Long story short, kid couldn't find her. All the adults started going around the neighborhood shouting for her. It was getting dark. After a while, my parents called the police. Someone eventually found her, and she said she did hear everyone looking for her, but she was playing hide and seek, so she wasn't coming out until someone found her. Parents called the police back and told them not to come. That's how we met most of our neighbors. Edit. Since lots of people are asking, she apparently wasn't even hiding well. She told me she was in front of the neighbor's garage. Not even in or behind. She is much smarter these days. But still very stubborn. Before I was born, my brothers and sisters played a game at my aunt's house down by the river. My eldest brother decided to hang by his fingertips inside the water well. Meanwhile, and unknowing of that fact, my other brother thought about hiding up inside the little steeple cover of the well, and to get to it needed to slam shut the well cover. LMAO. Slam. Blood-curdling scream. Splash. Cries for help. Between fits of unadulterated anger interspersed with disbelief and worry, my aunt, grandmother and mom managed to get him pulled up, which wasn't easy because with all of those smashed fingers of his he couldn't hold tight to a rope. I was a member of my university's hide and seek club, and at one point the police were called. However, we had proper signage up. so the police warned us to stay out of a part of the building as they were looking for a suspicious person. What neither the police nor we had figured out yet was that we were the suspicious figure that had been reported. I thought I would be clever and hide underneath an abandoned vehicle in somebody's yard. It was covered with hornets' nests underneath. I was the first one found. Got 63 stings. The fuckers chased me for a block. Just like in a cartoon. Cloud of bees behind me. So when I was a wee kid and a scout, we played hide and seek in the dark. We usually played something like this every time the last 15 minutes. It was a medium-sized cabin, essentially. There was a lot of places to hide. Lots of stuff just lying around. For some reason there was a coffin there and nobody, as far as I know, ever hid inside. Because it's a coffin, and that's just creepy. But my smartass hid inside it. Unlucky for me. Another guy also looking for a hiding spot saw me. He decided to lock the coffin I was inside of. Yeah. I had claustrophobia for quite a while afterwards. Peas. I have an intense hatred of the name Marcus because that was the bastard's name. My 10-year birthday party. My friends and I played hide and seek Caterpillar Edition. We put sleeping bags over us and wandered around in the dark to find each other. One of my friends lunges to tag another friend. Fell and went top head straight into her face. Knocked out 2 adult teeth and broke her nose. Blood everywhere. She had to go and get surgery. Her parents threatened to sue my parents but eventually got over it. She was never allowed to come to my house again. Was playing hide and seek by a river while going camping. It was kind of dark out. Went to hide in some bushes near the river. Went to step into the bushes and it was steep drop off into the river. Got completely soaked above my knees. It took them a while to find me though. Had a friend who once hid in the trunk of his mom's car. Unknowingly she drove to the store, which was pretty funny and a pretty good place for not being found. Was playing hide and seek with 2 friends when we were like 10. Me and my friend found a fantastic spot and hid there together and our other friend couldn't find us. Ended up going home to get his mom so she could tell us to come out and yell at us for hiding too well. Yes. This actually did happen. Oh. I have a good one. Didn't happen to me. But a friend of mine. But I was in that game of hide and seek. Here I go. When I was 8. I was at a birthday party of my neighbor's daughter. We had mutual friends. And one of them, let's call him Toby, wasn't really the brightest. We all weren't. But he took the cake, like eating a dead wasp once and then wondering why his mouth was swollen. Anyway, the daughter then all challenged us to a game of hide and seek. For context, they lived on a farm which wasn't the smallest, so there was plenty of space to hide. But to not draw this game too lengthy, we all agreed to only hide in the barn and on the main plot. And not the meadow behind it. It only took the daughter about 15 minutes to find me and the other kids invited to the party. Except for said Mr. Darkhead Toby. After about half an hour of searching for him, we started to get concerned. By this time, it was about 5:30 p.m. and we were all getting ready to go home. But Toby was nowhere to be found. Our parents agreed to let us stay until 7 p.m. hoping that he was found till then. After Toby wasn't found, Toby's parents called the cops and a search squad was sent out. Still no sign of him. The cops gave up. The next morning, I woke up to my parents telling me, in a tone of relief, that Toby was found. Apparently what happened was that Toby somewhat got lost on said meadow and was only found 8 hours later standing on the side of a road that was 4 miles away. With his shorts and t-shirt all ripped and damaged. He was only found after a relative spotted him with his headlights. Oh. Did I mention that Toby was new to the area and didn't know where what was? We are still friends to this day, 18 years later, and whenever we are drunk or really bored, we bring this story up and just laugh our guts out about it. About him not being very bright. Yeah. He now has his master's degree in mechanical engineering. So glad this story ended well. Or else my life would be different now. We lost the kid in a hotel for about 2.5 hours and his mum was freaking out, getting the staff to look for him and threatening to call the police. Just to find out that the kid was hiding behind a stack of chairs under a staircase. I hid in a tree in the park from my dad. Big park, right in the city. I was up there for about 2 hours. He passed under me several times, getting increasingly panicked, and I was like, I'm not falling for that one. Eventually I got bored and got down. Apparently right before he called the police. It wasn't horrible for me. But he was really terrified. My friend hid in the drawer under my bed. I found her and pulled the drawer out. When she moved forward to climb out, It tipped and the edge landed on my big toe. Fast forward 6 hours and I'm in A&E having a hot needle jammed into my toenail to release the pressure of the blood that had built up behind the nail. Yes, it did spurt blood. But my toenail fell off a week or two later. Which was pretty cool. We were about 8 years old. I was about 5 years old playing hide and seek with my brother and sister. It was supposed to be inside only. But apparently I was a little cheat. I snuck outside and climbed into the backseat of my mom's car and fell asleep. Hours later my parents are freaking out, calling people to help look for me and screaming my name. I wake up and hear my name being called. Panic scrambling out of the car and slam the door on my finger. It's still stuck bent at a weird angle to this day.